It's called Arkanside. A lot of people are found dead and died under mysterious circumstances, including pilots that were shipping these drugs in. Now, obviously, one has to say, well, did Hillary Clinton know about this? Well, the answer is obviously, because Hillary and Bill are in pocket with each other and are in bed with the mob and in bed with the CIA and have been. They are what you would classically call in the political military parlance as embed. They have embed journalists. Well, they have embed politicians. An embed politician is a politician that is deeply entrenched in corruption, deeply entrenched in mafia background, deeply entrenched in criminal enterprises, and is bought, purchased, and sold by the highest and the cheapest offer according to their wishes. Well, this is the background of Hillary Clinton, so it's not surprising that Hillary Clinton has got some very interesting politics, which obviously means the deriding and the denigration of a city, of a capital, and indeed a country. Now, the interesting thing about this Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump electoral process is that Donald Trump has picked up what I've always called is a poisonous chalice. Being a politician is a very poisonous chalice indeed, because at one stage you're required to be a blessing to a nation, and at another stage you can be a curse, and it depends on how you handle each of the challenges in your administration. Now, I've always stated quite clearly that there are people who are in power behind the scenes who control the politicians from behind the scenes, as if the politicians are puppets, and I believe that that is the case. But the issue with Donald Trump is Donald Trump going to deliver on his promise to make America great again? I don't know. Is Donald Trump going to find himself bent, broken, purchased and sold during his administration, and that his electoral promises, as is the case with all politicians before they're elected for high office, what they do is they make promises. One of the prima facie ones that they do, and it's the most obvious one, is that they say, well, we're not going to raise taxes. A politician, before he gets high office, the first thing he says, well, we're not going to raise taxes. I won't touch taxes. Your taxes won't be touched. But the moment he gets in power, the first thing that happens is he raises taxes. And the reason why is because he's not the person who's controlling what goes on. Okay? Now, Donald Trump's used a term. Now, I don't know whether this was a Freudian slip or whether he was trying to warn the American people of who he really is, or whether he was talking about Hillary Clinton. But he used the term Trojan horse. Now, I don't know. I suspect that Donald Trump might just well turn out to be a Trojan horse. If he does, if he cannot honour his pre-electoral promises, now he is the president-elect yet to be sworn in, if he cannot, there's going to be a lot of Americans going to be right royally cheesed off. There are going to be a lot of people on the Hill cheesed off. And the other question that comes to mind, and most people, I use a term which I know and I'm familiar with. It's a term that most people who know very little about politics are not familiar with. They say the term is, I'm using a Washington D.C. term. I am not talking about Jesus, the Messiah, Yeshua, the Messiah. When I use this term, I will use the term that's used in the intelligence parlance. It's come to Jesus time, the hawks and the doves. Now, are they going to come to Jesus, the hawks and the doves, with Donald Trump? That's the question. The doves being those people are the white politicians, the hawks being the military. Come to Jesus, by the way, if you don't know what come to Jesus means, in the military industrial complex of America, come to Jesus term is a term that's used to describe the administration and philosophy of the CIA under the philosophical directorship of James Angleton Jesus, a leading Jesuit thinking theologian light of the CIA. It was James Angleton Jesus that really introduced the notion of psychological warfare and took Vandenberg took Wild Bill Donovan's precepts of psychological warfare to a whole new level. James Angleton Jesus, go and check it up. He was Jesuit trained in Georgetown University, and he was the person who really animated the notion of psychological warfare in the CIA. So the question is it's come to Jesus time? Do the hawks and the doves come together and aid Donald Trump? Or are they going to set him up? Now, the other thing as well, that Donald Trump has also made a statement which I believe is very dangerous. He has said that he knows how these people operate, that he's going to go head to head with these people. He has talked about how politicians are co-opted and co-corrupted into a system. In fact, his address is a mild version of the speech that JFK gave, that John Fitzgerald Kennedy gave when John Fitzgerald Kennedy made a statement that I believe was the one that may have got him killed, and that was that the very term secrecy and secret society is repugnant to the American people. Well, Donald Trump has made a statement that is almost dangerously close to making that statement, that when he says he knows how these people operate and he knows that how these people are going to apply themselves, and he's going to do everything he can to stop them. The question is he? Now, there are a few things which I've yet to verify, but I believe the conspiracy theory is that there's a president's book of secrets. I believe that there is a book that every president-elect gets to see before he's sworn in. He's taken down to the basement of the White House. He's shown this book and what it entails, including video evidence and whatever. And I think that the simple question is asked to him is, any questions? My suspicion, as is some people on the dark net, is that book entails who really pulled the plug on Jack Kennedy on the 22nd of November 1963 and who was really behind that event. And if that book exists, if that book and the video files, including the unedited version of the Zapruder footage, exists, and it is shown to Donald Trump, the chances are that when he has seen that, you'll see the Donald Trump going in, and the Donald Trump that comes out won't be the same Donald Trump. Biologically the same, looks the same, but will be co-opted and bent, broken, and co-corrupted into their system. In which case he will become a Trojan horse. Now this is all highbrow conspiracy theory stuff, but the reality is America as a political system, America is heavily corrupted in a lot of interesting ways. The charted history of America is that there are more unanswered questions than there are answered questions. The question is that Donald Trump going to deal with what happened on 9/11? I believe there's whispers or hints or remarks that have been made by him with regards to the investigation of 9/11. My personal belief about 9/11 is that 9/11 was to the modern era what the assassination of Jack Kennedy was to 1963. It was an opportunity to rape a nation and to psychologically break a nation and to desensitize a nation and to be used as a psychological warfare tactic to get people to acquiesce to the wishes of the power elites that control Washington, D.C., the hawks and the doves, particularly the neocons, the Project for the New American Century, and Agenda 21. These are the real issues that Donald Trump is going to be faced with. Not just is he going to be the alleged captain of a sinking ship, but he's also going to be in a position where he's going to be center stage to one of the biggest either glories or travesties and crimes of the century that might reek through the American political system. Now, it's obvious that Hillary Clinton has made the statements I think that every politician does when they're the loser. They'll say, oh, I hope we can work together. The chances are they already have been working together, right from the get-go, and this election is nothing but a big scam, a sham that's been brought and presented to the American people and sold to them as if it's a genuine election. Mainly, most of what I can, from what I've seen of everything that's been going on during the electoral process, is that it's actually been quite a three-ring circus going on here, and that actually is not what it appears to be. But we're going to see. We're going to see. I'm a dyed-in-the-wool cynic. I'm a Class A, Grade A cynic. I don't trust any politicians. I don't trust them. I got my hands burnt by the political process in this country in 1986-87 for Margaret Thatcher's second term of office that she went for. She didn't tell the Londoners what she was going to do with the GLC. She didn't tell the Londoners what she had plans for the fair policy and the fair rents officers that help keep prices acceptable and within usual margins for Londoners. But when she abolished the GLC, she didn't tell them. She didn't tell the Londoners that that's what she was going to do. But when she abolished the GLC, that did away with the fair rents officers. That meant that private landlords could charge whatever they want within reason. She did away with the fair policy on the tube. And with a very short period of time after she abolished the GLC and those two single protectional acts that were removed that protected the poor people in London, guess what? Prices went up and the fares went up. And ever since then, we've been in an escalating price where prices have been increasing, but but wages have not risen in line with inflation. The question is the same going to happen in America? Is Donald Trump going to deliver what he says he's going to deliver? Is he going to be a man who stands heads and shoulders above the rest of the politicians and becomes a man who's different? Or is he going to be co-opted and co-corrupted and bent into some shape that is malleable for their wishes? This is my usual report. Well, this is one of the usual reports that I'd like to do of the kind of things that I usually do with Facebook Live. Only this time I'm doing it and I'm posting this on YouTube and sharing it on Facebook. My concern is over what is going on. Now, as a Bible believer, we are told to pray for our leaders. The question is that going to happen? Are we going to see our prayers delivered? Is America, some of its wounds going to be healed? Well, only Yahweh can heal the wounds of America. Only Yahweh can heal that's invisible. The things that are visible are the unrest. What is interesting is that Americans take their politics way too seriously. And above all, as I said in my Facebook Live session yesterday, that Americans do take their politicians and their political life way too seriously. But beyond the comedy of errors and travesty and Greek travesty of errors that have presided over this electoral process between Hillary Clinton and Donald J. Trump, there stands real issues. I know that politicians like to promise the earth and deliver you dust. That's what they usually do. The question is, promising the earth and delivering on a dime, is that what Donald Trump's going to be able to do? If he's not, he's in deep trouble. Politics is a poisoned chalice because in one sense, if you're successful, they can always praise you. But if you're not, you can be in deep trouble. And it's usually, I tend to find, from my observation of the political process that occurs here in this country, as well as my observation of politics in every country around the world since I've been observing, and I've been doing this for 30 years, is that there comes a stage in a politician's administration, whether it be 4 years, 8 years, or whatever, there comes a stage, usually within the first year to 2 years, an event happens that breaks the back of that politician, that leader, and he becomes bonded and molded and broken and sold to the wishes of the real power elites, the hawks and the doves that really control Washington, D.C. But I keep on saying that it must be noted that I've said to loads of people during the course of my conversations that I've had with them, and I'll say this here in front of camera. The real power of Washington, D.C. is the Jesuit-controlled University of Georgetown, of which the majority of the leading luminaries and lights that go into the American politics, whether it be the Hawks or the Doves, are educated at the Jesuit Georgetown University. And they are the ones that are the real control, the real power elites. Now, is Donald Trump going to be able to stand up against them? I'm going to tell you this now. Here's a hint. Donald Trump has met the Pope. Ask yourself the question, what is the arrangement that he's going to have with the papacy? What arrangement will he have? Is he going to be obedient and compliant, or disobedient and rebellious to the papacy? Here's a word of warning, and my final word of warning on this one. If he's disobedient to the papacy, just remember a date. November the 22nd, 1963, 12:30 midday. Remember that date. That's what the popes do to the rebellious, disrespectful, and disobedient presidents. I'm ending this remark. Enjoy this video.